So let's start. Here going to FDME application. Prior to that, we should know what is FDMEE and what was the prior version for FDMEE. The prior version for FDME is FDM application, Financial Data Management, or we also call them as FDQM application, Financial Data Quality Management application, FDM or FDQM. This version has been maintained till 11.1.2.3 along with the new version, but this version only independently having up to 11.1.2.2 version. Mean most properly this one is this version is highlighted at 11.113.500 version. So in prior version, like the prior version was very much a comfort at 2011, 12, 13 up to 14 also we are using. But when they introduced 11.123, they have introduced the new version of FDMEE. So when it has been released, this has been released at the year of like 2014 around year end, like 2000 mid year or year end, that has been released the version of 11.123. In this version, what they have given is they have introduced two versions of FDM. One is FDM, we can call them as this one as classic application of FDM. Again, they have introduced a new version of FDM that is called as FDMEE, Financial Data Management Enterprise Edition. So the classic application is FDM and Enterprise Edition are available at 11.123. But the latest version which they released is 11.124. But here onwards, from this version onwards, there is no concept of FDM. We will be follow only FDMEE only. So the users, like the clients who are working on FDM applications, they have to upgrade into FDMEE only if they are upgrading to 11.124 version. So simply what I'm trying to say here is, client itself, they are using like new version of 11.124, and in prior, like the previous, if the business is using FDM, there is no upgrade concept from FDM lower version to 11.124. You have to upgrade into your application also as well into FDMEE. So for this, Oracle has been given like FDME migration utility tool. By using that one, we need to upgrade our older version objects into new version of 11.124. So what this FDME exactly consists of the applications, what it has exactly. So FDME comes into the market like the classic FDME application and ERP integrator applications, and the backend engine data loading would be on ODI. So these three components comes together and they have released like FDME application. So when you go for the FDME, we have the three components. We have three components like FDM, ERPI, and ODI applications. These three products comes together and they are using some of the part of the information, and they came to know like FDME application. Okay. So this is FDME, like whereas your FDME application, ERP and ODI. In prior version, we have separate identity, separate installation and configuration that is required for FDME application. But right now, it can be comes into a workspace. If you are some of the knows about the workspace, then we can have this FDME application in workspace. Okay, so fine. This FDME, what it does exactly? What FDME does? FDM and FDME both are same concepts, but the thing is, it's a classic application. This is Enterprise Edition, which is coming with these components of the products, and the functionality of FDME is same. But what it is the functionality? This functionality is nothing but it is like a ELT tool. What is mean by ELT? Extract, then transform the data, then load the data. So the basic intention of this FDME application itself is working as a intermediary application. Mean like it's a intermediary application, like from your source to target. What it is going to be extract, what it is going to load into applications. For this, in FDME, like I am going to take as a scenario, my target application would be HFM or SBase or planning or any other Hyperion product only. Here another point that need to be noted, this FDME application exclusively using for Hyperion products only. The target should be Hyperion application only. There is no other applications that are supported as a target in FDME. FDME is a exclusive for Hyperion products only, right? That's fine. So your target would be one of the Hyperion application. Fine. What about your source? Your source would be like ERP systems, right? What are the ERP systems? EBS, mean e-business suite, Oracle Financials, SAP, SAP BW, Microsoft Dynamics, JD Edwards, PeopleSoft Financials, PeopleSoft Financial. Likewise, we have multiple ERP systems in the market. So whatever the transactions that you are, this is nothing but we are calling them as a OLTP, transactional system, right? By using this transactional system, you will get the data of trial balance, right? Whatever the ERP system, irrespective of ERP system, what is our intention to get the file? To get the file of trial balance by monthly, like January, February. Likewise, you will get the trial balance. What you have to do is, by using this trial balance data, you need to load the data into your target applications. But how I can manage to load this data into target applications? How I can manage? I mean directly, if I can't, if I want to load, you can load. If the business is providing in terms of a file, mean like the trial balance data will be providing in terms of a file, then we can use this as a source and we can load the data by using the transformations in FDME application. That is one concept that I can do. Okay, but my requirement comes like I don't want to use my file system. It has to directly integrate with my source systems. That is my requirement. That is also feasible in FDME application, but this is not available in FDM. So just I am giving some comparisons. So the direct integration, I mean like drill through option is available in FDME, not in FDM, but no longer this FDME is valid. And once you are in working on 11124, there is no concept of FDM application. Clear? So here your trial balance data is there, and you are using your trial balance you are getting from your source systems, and you are going to load. So just you are extracting what kind of data here? You are extracting trial balance data. How you are going to transform? These transformations will be done based on your mapping. What is mean by mapping? Your source system like ERP system will be providing the data about your chart of accounts and cost centers, and some segments information will be provided. But whereas let us take your HFM application. In this HFM application, the target is having the dimensions are different, like account dimension, entity dimension, and some custom dimensions. But the label names are may be different or may not be different. The label names, my color, the chart of accounts label names are different or not different, may not different against with your account dimension, entity dimension. If the label names are different, what we have to do is we need to give the mapping by using the transformation from which chart of accounts to which chart of account, account dimension, that you need to prepare the information and you go with mappings. So once you provided the mappings, the data can be transformed from your source data to required data of HFM. What it is? This data is not the required data of HFM. What it is? From source data. Once you transform the application from FDMEE, then the data will be converted into the required format of HFM. So this is a data file for HFM application dot dat file for HFM application. Then you can load this data into your required HFM application, right? So this is the way that you are exporting. Here itself export means we are loading into your target applications. So this is source file, this is target data will be transformed against your mapping, and you are loading into HFM application. Fine. So here the new features that are in new versions like FDMEI is, once you load it, here itself I have integrated with my source system and directly loaded into HFM application. From HFM application, if the users wants to go back and see he wants to see his granular level information like general ledger data as well as sub ledger data, there is a concept is called as drill through option. So in latest version of FDMEE, we have the feature is called as drill through option. By using that one, you can directly navigate to the general ledger as well as sub ledger level. Clear? So any questions up to now?
Hi, this is Racha.
Yeah, hi Rachel.
So hi, how can we drill through with the help of smart view or how can we go to that
Which
particular level?
which one? Sorry.
Like how we can use the drill through property. Let's say we are in HFM or a space application.
Mm-hmm.
We have loaded the data and
Yes.
now we want to drill through to the sub ledger and ledger
Yes.
details.
Yes.
So how can we use that?
Yep. See here itself, this is a trial balance data. This trial balance data where we can load into HFM application or SBS application. Any application we are going to load at base level only, right? Base level only we are going to load. So what you have to do is you need to create the cell. What is we are saying? We are going to create data grid or data form or something like that in HFM application. Once you created the data grid, you have the cell. You will be seeing the cell, one cell, particular cell. In that, we have the option right click, and you can see the option is called as drill through option. So directly it will be navigating to your source system. Let me open my system here.
Okay, so in SBase also in Smart View we have that option, right?
Yes, drill through option is there. So if the
Okay.
drill through, when it will be applied and when it will be active, once you directly register with source system. Okay. So
Okay.
if you are not registered with your source system, the system will not be navigated to your general ledger or sub ledger level. If you integrated with your source system, then only you can have the feasibility to navigate into source general ledger as well as sub ledger level. And you should have the access. Like the user should have the access of EBS systems also as well. Okay.
Yes.
So coming to the functionality which we are going to learn in FDME application, we'll see. This is the like overview. Like what we are going to do, how the FDME importance is there. So the FDME importance is like from source to your target data, how you are going to manage. So let me show you how many sources are there in HFM, in FDME, how we are going to use. Like in previous, we have directly only to get the file as source and we are doing the transformations and data loadings. But now here we have some new features in our FDME application. One concept is called open interface. What is mean by open interface? In previous like FDMEA, we can get the file and we are going to import into FDME application and do the transformation and load into the target application. That's fine. But my business don't want to go with the file. I don't want to extract the data into a file format. It should not be a out of box, I mean like out of applications. I don't want to see any file format data. It has to be go through tables or through applications only. That's my requirement. Then what we have to do is, what is the other option is, we can go with open interface. What is mean by open interface? Open interface is nothing but a table. It says table in the sense Oracle schema table. Okay, it is a table. It's already given by FDME. While installing and configuration, you will get one default open interface table in FDME schema, that is called as AIF open interface table. Okay, this is the table where we are using instead of file. You need to populate the data. You need to populate the data similar as file. If you are having the file and instead of file you want to go for AF interface, what you have to do is you need to populate the same columns into AF open interface. Let me show you if possible. Yep.
Is the open interface used like a staging area,
Ex
staging table or something?
yes, exactly. Let me show you. That is nothing but a staging table. From there itself you need to perform import and validate in FDME application. Let me show you the table. This is a table which will be created directly when you are doing the installation and configuration, right? So once you get this file, it's a blank one. It is having some columns information over here. See here, this is batch name, year, period name, and column 1, column 2. These are the columns which we are using, like account, entity, whatever the information that you want to pass. You need to use this all columns to populate the data. If any column is not required, you can simply skip that one. It will be updated as a null values, right? So these are the columns which are already predefined by the system. So just what we have to do is we need to populate these tables instead of file. Thereafter, you can use this as a source instead of file, simply. So this is one way that you are using open interface as a store. As you said, it is like a staging table before going to start your FDME activity. Right. So next, another one is source. We are directly integrating with your ERP systems. So let us see what is direct integration with the ERP systems. So when I go for the source systems, in previous we don't have any feasibility. Now we have the feasibility. Directly you can integrate with your source systems. Here you can see these are the source systems that are the features we have available in FDME application. You can directly integrate with 11i, 12i, Fusion apps, and JD Edwards and PeopleSoft Financials, SAP. These are the applications are available to directly integrate with your source systems. So, but here another point that you need to remember is, if you want to register or if you want to go for ERP systems directly integration, prior to that you have one more activity that you need to perform. That is, you need to establish the you need to establish the connection in ODI. So you need to create the data server. That means that naming convention is need to create the data server to get connected to your ERP. So first step is you need to establish the data server in ODI. Then you need to connect with your source system. Why? Because ERP system is there, but itself is having some schema details, right? It is having some schema details. The data will be stored into backend in some schema. That schema details that you need to provide in data server of ODI. Then you come back and you have to register your source system. So hope you understand the possible ways to comes as source here. Okay, file open interface. These are the new features comes into in FDME involved. Just we can do the by using only file format only. Okay. Hope you understand till now what are the concepts that here itself that we are seeing. Now I am going to explain like how we are going to perform the FDME total steps that I can show you. And like we have total four steps that we have. Simply as I am giving like overview, import into import into FDME application, validate in FDME application, and export into HFM application. Simply these are the steps that I have. Just what are the prerequisites that we would require to perform these activities, right? So let us take any source. Any source, if you can take any source, what is the first step? That the step is to import the data into FDME application. These are the things where we are going to perform in FDME. So first what is our step? Import. From where you are importing the data? From one of the source. So while importing the data, what you require exactly? Import format. What you require? Import format. So based on the columns which you are having in your source system, you need to tell the same thing to FDME application. This is my column X for HF account dimension. This is column Y. This is for entity. This is custom. That is the way that you need to define your import format to get imported into your FDME application. So the import format is should be required when you are importing the data into FDME application. If the application is getting filed during the import, then the issue is belongs to your import format only. You need to fix that import format to get import into FDME application. Fine, you are successfully imported your source data. What is this data? Source data. The source data that you imported. Then next step is validate. How the source data can be validated. For that, the system is required mapping. So at that moment, what you have to do is you need to check your mappings of account dimension, entity dimension, custom dimension. Everything is being updated in your FDME application. When you click on this validate option, it will be like validated against with your mappings. So the data will be converted into target application data. So once the data is been converted into required format of the target application, then you can click on export. It will be providing the options of the HFM application, merge, replace, accumulate, whatever the options that you want to load your data into HFM application. Then you can go on do this data loading by using this export option. Okay, seems simply here, but we have some other more options are there. So let us check what are the components that we are going to cover in this FDME chapters. Okay, so product orientation like FDME information, what is the integration process, total everything accessing and navigating FDME application that we can see. So next step is integrations like defining the profiles, registering source system, registering target system, application root folder, where the data will be stored in the backend in terms of application folders and in terms of database tables also as well. I will be giving the explanation on tables also. If you are familiar on database tables, that would be great. Otherwise also, better to try to understand the things from tables perspective also, because of we need to concentrate on the table side also sometimes to debug the issues and check the staging areas. And while processing the data in FDMEE, what are the tables will be getting reflected, that is also that we should know while doing the processing. And the next step is setting up import formats for file systems. So if you are getting the file system, what are the steps that you would require to take up for to create the import formats? So another thing is to create the location and period mappings, category mappings, and this location creation. What are the prerequisites that location is required to perform the data loading for particular location? And comes to mappings, once you do the mappings, what kind of mappings that we are using, like explicit mapping, in mapping, between mapping. Likewise, we have different mappings are there. So we need to know what kind of mappings and what is the importance of mappings. Define and executing data load rules. This is the concept in FDME only, not in FDM. So it simply gives the information to the system, like which scenario, which period, year, and which location that you want to load the data. Everything will be created into a one data load rule. That data load rule will be executed for the data loading process. Instead of using the workbench, they have given one more concept like data load rule. By using that one, you can execute the data loadings. Once you're done, you can check by using the data load workbench. We can perform the same thing what we are going to perform in data load rule. The same also will be doing in data load workbench. Okay. Setting up check rules and check entities. Once you loaded your data into HFM application, fine. But after that, you have to have some data reconciliations checks also you should require, right? For that, how we are going to set up the check rules for after data loading and which entities that you are going to perform. These are the steps we'll be using for check rules and check entities concept. Processing batches. In previous, like in FDME, if you want to go for the batches, you need to write the shell script or batch scripts to execute the batches. But here, they have given inbuilt functionality as batches. If you have multiple data loading rules you can keep all of them into one batch and you can schedule that things. So for that, we have the batch is there. We can use the batch scripts over there. Reports. So we have some system defined reports in FDME application to prepare the reports once you loaded the data into HFM application or any target application. We have like a predefined templates are there. We can use them and we can generate the reports. If you are familiar to understand the queries and you are familiar to know about the tables, then you can customize your own report queries also. You can define your query definition and you can generate your own reports also. That means customized reports. Otherwise, we can go with the system defined and default reports itself. Setting up of security. Like how to create the users and batches, how to provide the location security, and how to provide the object level security. Everything we can see in the security part. And coming to the scripts, like import and event script and custom scripts also there. Like import and event scripts, that before going to LAN we should have some idea about the Jython scripting. So here I am going to cover import scripts fine, but coming to event script, I will show you the scripts information how we are going to use. And if you are the familiar in the Jython scripting and you should have the knowledge on the like APIs application interfaces functions, then you can able to manage this event scripts and custom scripts. Import scripts are bit of easy, which are being used if your source as a file. Otherwise, the import scripts are not required. When you go for the import scripts, this is the most important one. And again, as well as custom scripts also. If you are familiar in Jython scripting, and if you are aware about the Jython API, interface functions of FDME, then you can combine both of them and you can execute the event script and custom scripts as well. So the prerequisite here itself, ultimately, that I am saying, Jython is required. Okay, so there is no VB concept over here. So because of, you should be aware about the Jython scripts. If we are not in a position to write itself, at least we need to have in a position to understand the Jython scripts if you are in the support projects. FDME integration with other source system. As I said, like it is going to be integrated with your source systems, which we are able to see in the FDME application. So apart from that, apart from these concepts, I'm going to give like open batch data loading, and we can have multi-period data loading, and we have some other concepts also like open batch and multi-period concepts, open batch, multi-period, and data loadings. Those concepts, some of the other concepts we have while doing the activities, we can also see them as well. Okay, these are the things will be covered in FDMEE. And if you guys want to know ODI, I will give some bit of knowledge on ODI for 4 to 5 days, I guess. I can cover as a part of this FDME part. I would like to cover this FDM ODI part also, because of you should know some awareness about the ODI part. So I'm going to give this ODI part also for 4 to 5 days as the part of this FDME. So total would take around this FDME, and this ODI will take like 15 to 17 days, I guess, most probably, not more than that. So this is the total concepts that I am going to cover. Any questions?
So it would
So,
be how many hours per day?
Per day, it's like 1 hour only.
Will it be every day?
Yeah, every day. We will give the intimation if there is any lag. If I am not able to take the sessions, I will send you a mail, and if you are not available, I will intimate the same to others also. Because of it's a 15 days, right? So we can have like daily, if possible. We can skip the weekends.
so Vasu, you will not be covering the Jython script, like basics of Jython, like how to write the basic things.
Yeah,
Like, will
basic
you be
things I
covering
can
that, or?
say. Basic things I can say. But the thing is,
Mhm.
you are the person need to understand the Jython script, how to define the variables, how to
Yes,
concatenate,
definitely.
how to define the constants, how to use the functions, how to create the definition function. That I can say. Okay. But
Okay.
let me show you the admin guide for you. Mm,